G'day, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be running through the install of an Airhead composting toilet that I put in this caravan. This is a caravan I built from scratch. It's a 20-part series. If you're new to the channel and you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Basically, this Airhead install is sections of the build through various episodes of the 20-part series that I've just pulled together in one spot so you can see the start to finish install of the toilet, and also I'll give you a bit of a rundown at the end of how I think it's been going since we've got the van out on the road and had some adventures. So yeah, check it out. Okay, let's get down to the dirty business. We're going to install this bad boy today. Just thought I'd run you through a composting toilet's rough operation. I've never used one myself, never installed one, and I'm only going on what it says in the instructions, but basics of it are solids reservoir, liquids reservoir. Liquids go through these holes here. I have to get my aim sorted. And the solids go through that one there. You got option of chucking one of these things in. You can drop it onto that, and then when you open the door, the whole thing falls through. Probably saves a bit of cleaning, I'm assuming. Yeah, and then you just take this reservoir out and you can empty it for the liquids. The solids end up in here with a coir sort of organic block that you mix by rotating this handle with the good stuff that ends up in there. It basically just breaks down by itself naturally. So there's a vent hole here with a mesh screen on it to stop the bugs getting in. And then on the other side, there's this isn't fitted yet, but that'll be a permanent plastic fitting that's glued off to the side there. Then you got this vent line, this ribbed hose, and ends up running to an exhaust fan that you put on the floor. So I'm going to run it straight through that wall there, and then it'll end up over here behind the fridge slide. And this is full. You can unscrew that, undo these. There's 4 of those. Lift the whole top off, sit it to the side, undo these, which will be screwed off to the floor, and then lift out that reservoir and go and empty the good stuff outside, fully composted and done apparently. And then yeah, obviously that just comes off as needed and disposed, the liquids. Anyway, we'll get the hose run to the exhaust fan point. It's pretty much the setup there. There's another filter in there and another one down in there, so there's 2 points of prevention of insects getting in. Just a very light electrical cable because it pulls no amps at all. Yeah, so penetration through the wall, and then this is just a slide-on fitting that goes on like that. Obviously that'll be screwed to the floor and tight. So I just got to get this mounted now, screwed down onto the floor there. Call it good. I reckon that's about right. job done. Just need to get the power to it, obviously, and that fan will work. Still thinking I might make that line a little bit longer. Looking good. On to the next thing. Okay, it's time to get this thing set up. Hadn't arranged it before I left. I had a quick read a couple of weeks ago and sort of knew what needed to happen, but this morning's nature called and I had to head bush and with a shovel, and my backside got absolutely tapped by mosquitoes like you wouldn't believe. So a bit of itch to carry through now, but so I think I'll get this sorted so I've got a more comfortable experience moving forward. So the plan is you've got to get this coir peat, this stuff, natural product. I've got to break it up in a bucket or a tub or whatever, and put some water on it, mix it around, let it absorb the water for, it says overnight in the book, but actually the back of the instructions on this one, I just got these from Bunnings. They say to just do it for a couple of hours, so hopefully I can get it sorted today, and then that's got to go into the composting toilet. The hold area of the composting toilet. I'll show you that later when I get to it, but we'll just get this mixed up for now. The dust in this stuff's not too good for you apparently. I probably shouldn't be doing it like this. I should have just dropped the whole brick in and put water in there to make it expand. But anyway, so that's 8 litres I need now, which is 4 of these. I'm just going to use the lake water. That's it after about, I don't know, 10 minutes. And I've been mixing it with a stick. Still a bit of moisture in there and still a few dry bits. So I'll just let it sit for a few more hours and see what happens. And I'm ready to deposit in the toilet, hopefully. So that's what we're dealing with. That's the base unit of the composting toilet. It's got a rotational handle, so every time you make a friendly deposit, you need to spin that a few times and mix it through the coir. So looking at the rough size of each one, I reckon it's about right, the amount I've got here. So I need to half fill this. So I'll take a measurement of the depth. So I've got 28 centimetres deep. I'll need to be 14 from the top when I'm finished. This has probably got a bit more expanding to do, but I'll just chuck it in and I can use the wheel to rotate it around a bit. So we'll just start depositing and see how we go. Yeah, spot on. It's actually exactly the right amount, which is good to know. Maybe it'll expand more, I'm not sure, but it works out too. I just realised that the pivot point there for the rotational point for the handle is exactly halfway, so that's where you fill it to, obviously. So that's good. We'll get it in there and get using it. So there's all the constituent parts of the composting toilet. So you saw me put that peat in before. This is the liquids container for the urine, and there's obviously the seat and the air plug goes in there. So we'll put it all together. What I'm also going to do is got a tip from someone, and also I just noticed it was in the instructions as well. You chuck some vinegar in there, just 50 mils each time, and it stops the stink from the urine, which is good. And a spray bottle with 50-50 diluted with water and vinegar. I just give that a bit of a spray each time you're going to use it, so nothing sticks. Easier to clean apparently. So yeah, we'll get it all assembled and then give it a whirl. First in, best dressed. Whoever wants to have a go, I guess. Make a mess of it. I forgot to mention also there's a lid that goes on this, a white disc with the screw the butterfly screws on the outside to hold it on for when you're taking it away and emptying it, but we won't be doing that this trip. I didn't even bring it, so yeah. But you'll chuck the top on and away we go. Yeah, so I'm in the toilet right now. Don't worry, I've still got my pants on, sitting on the composting loo right now. Yeah, so we've had a bit of a road test with it on a few trips. I'm pretty happy with it. It's really easy to use, quite functional. Haven't really got any negatives really to report about the functionality of it. Probably one thing for me is the fan is advertised as being super quiet, and actually the reviews and other people I'd seen on forums and YouTube videos talking about it said that it doesn't really make any noise at all and you can't hear it in the van. I don't think that's true. I can actually hear my van. It sort of reverberates through the floor a bit, I think, is the issue. I will probably have to put some sound deadening around it, some sort of insulation around it, just to try and prevent that noise coming through. I'd rather hear the aspects of nature around me more so than the fan whirring at night when I'm trying to sleep. So yeah, we'll have to remedy that. The other thing to consider is you've got some deposits in a box in your van. That fan keeps the smells out of the van itself, but if you park your caravan or whatever van that you've installed the Airhead into a shed, garage type situation, that fan is venting to your shed basically, and therefore if you get back from a trip and you got some fresh deposits in there, you're going to be venting some pretty fruity scented air into your shed. I noticed pulling the van in a couple of times after a trip, you go back in the next day and yeah, she's pretty ripe. So you got that to consider in this as well. Obviously the composting process, as time goes on, breaks down and the smell dissipates and it's all good, but you'll have to put up with that for a while after you get back. But apart from that, yeah, I think they're a good unit. They're well made, pretty straightforward, I think, and basic. Not much to them. I think the price, because I'm in Australia, and to bring the unit into Australia was quite expensive at the time I ordered it, and I think value for money maybe not there. It's really just a plastic molded piece of kit with a few moving parts. I reckon the manufacturing cost wouldn't be very much, so the margin there must be considerable. And then when you pay import tax and postage and everything else on top of it, like we do in Australia, it starts adding up. But yeah, I'd recommend them. I reckon it's the future of caravans. The water saving that you make by not having to flush, and also the capacity, I guess you'd say, how long between changeovers, between emptying and refreshing the loo is considerable. Go weeks, and with a couple of people you can go weeks without having to do anything, which is great, other than empty the liquids container, obviously, which is a pretty straightforward process. Yeah, I'd highly recommend them. So yeah, that's it really. I hope you enjoyed that. Pretty quick episode, but yeah, hit me up with any questions, drop them down below in the links, and yeah, go check out the build series. You can see this whole van getting built from start to finish, 20-part series if you haven't already. Cheers for now.